Good evening. Welcome to the San Antonio Soccer Pre-Game show. That's going to be previewing San Antonio and FC or San Antonio FC and the Austin Bowl with kickoff at 8 p.m. at Toyota Field. With me tonight is Scott, our super producer and player, goalkeeper, which will come in handy down the road. Rafa, our goalkeeping coach and all-around great guy, and Jonathan Check, who had a tough day today with City losing, and I'm not talking about St. Louis City losing here. And just to kind of follow up with Jonathan, you can follow his work at Bluish Moon Blog, and you cover San Antonio FC and I think a little bit of Man City. How are you guys doing this evening?
I'm doing all right, besides the loss for City, which I can't be surprised about with the way the defense has been this season. So
Pretty
It'll
good.
save the embarrassment for next week when they go up against Bayern. So, but that's a different discussion.
the way I see it, the way I see it, we already beat UEFA this season, so that's enough.
Oh. And you, Rafa, how are you?
Pretty good. Just ready for tonight's derby game versus Austin. They're already talking already. So they're out for blood tonight. So we're gonna send them packing back with a loss. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
So, like I said here, lineups will probably come out in the next 15 minutes or so here, typically for San Antonio FC. For that here. Just to kind of, after the intros here, let's kind of talk a little bit about Tulsa. The game on Wednesday ended in a 0-0 draw. I think biggest takeaway from everybody on social media was, how is there not any goals? So we'll start with you, Jonathan, your thoughts on the Tulsa match. I thought it was a well-earned point. And anytime you get 7 points out of a 3-game road trip, you have to consider that a success in my book.
Yeah, SAFC definitely made the most of that road trip, particularly with spending that entire week in Oklahoma, getting those two results. The Tulsa one is interesting because I think I said at the end of the game, it was it was you have unexciting scoreless draws, and then you have that, which was the exact opposite. There was no lack of action, and I can't pretend to know exactly what both teams were feeling, but I think they'll both be content with a point, but frustrated that neither was able to get that goal to get all 3 points.
You, Rafa?
I kind of predicted, well, I guess when we started the road trip, that we needed to come out with 7 points or more, and it came through. So I mean, I'm happy with the result. I think we could have gotten the 3 points. We're just we're unlucky on some plays, and also Pirano didn't play too. They rested him for tonight's game. But like I said, Gallegos had a great game. Some of the other guys defensively, we had a great game. Dane McGrath Sinclair made some great saves, and I think you kind of predicted Harry on Wednesday night. You probably first shadow a 0-0 tie, and that's what it ended up. But I'm sure SAFC is happy with the point. I know we kind of ruined the home opener for Tulsa. Even though they're shooting their fireworks after.
Yeah, I don't know if it ruined it with all the fireworks that were going off. Scott, are you on, or are you going to be off here? Yeah, so my thoughts on it, like I said here, I predicted a low scoring game. I thought it would be I thought it'd be 1-0. I just think Tulsa's defense is very good. San Antonio's defense is obviously three shutouts and 5 matches, and one of them was, a late goal to tie in RGV, and I think it was extra time or right near the 90th minute. So I thought both teams would be digging in. I've been on the Tulsa bandwagon that they're a much improved team over the last couple of years here. So, and I think their depth showed it here. So just to kind of recap of where we're at in Group D, San Antonio still in first place with 14 points with 6 games played. Tulsa's second with 5 games played, but at 9. So even if they get a win, they would still be in second. Austin Bold, our opponent tonight, is at 6 points because they defeated RGV 4-1 in their last game. Oklahoma City is at with 6 games played is at 5 points, and RGV is at with 7 games played is at 2 points. Tonight's action in Group D, Tulsa has a bye. They'll play next. I think it was next Wednesday in Austin. Austin will travel up to them on the 19th. And then they will be in San Antonio next Saturday. For San Antonio, they obviously play Austin Bold tonight, and Wednesday they will play the Energy, so kind of back to back again. The Energy are playing RGV tonight, and then will travel us down for it here. So the interesting takeaway for me is RGV will have already played 8 games, so that's half their season already. Even if they do get a win tonight, I think they're pretty much out of it. The Energy with 6 games, I think it's kind of that battle for that second spot for that here. But thoughts on the standings? We'll start with Rafa at this point here.
For the standings right now, I think we're where we need to be at right now, except for that mishap in that first game, losing out. We could be having 8-point lead right now, but things happen. This 3-game homestand, if we get these 9 points, we're gonna win the group, and I don't think anybody's gonna catch up to us. And I think that's the focus. We got to make sure we get all 9 points for the next 3 home games, and then hopefully some of these teams like tonight, hopefully RGV ties with OKC. They'll start tying with each other and so forth, getting just only 1 point, so we can start getting a gap. And I think the smart thing to do for us is to try to get as many points, and also goal differential is going to come a key, especially if we want to get that number 1 seed. I think getting home, if we get home field advantage for the Western Conference playoffs, I think we have a shot. Honestly think we have a shot with this team.
You Jonathan, what's your thoughts on the standings and the upcoming schedule?
Rafa's right. It's definitely a matter of just trying to capitalize on this home stretch now. I mean, we were just talking, they got 7 points from 3 away matches. When you only drop 2, you're in a good position, and then you get to come back home for, to be fair, a run of another 3 matches within the span of a week. But it can really put them far ahead. And I think the thing that's going to be refreshing, especially with this being a shortened season, we're going to be coming up to the end faster than we realize it. There are even some teams in the USL that are halfway done with their season.
Mm-hmm.
But SAFC could be in a position where they don't have to worry on the last match week or 2, how are the other results going? They could just have first place locked up. One caution I will point out, though, is if you don't capitalize on these matches, like we were saying, Tulsa has a bye this weekend, and so they're going to have a few matches in hand. And, if SAFC drops points, they'll know, okay, we just need to win these matches, and we're right up there with them, breathing down their neck again.
And the same can be said for the Bold as well. If the Bolds have played 2 less games than with us, if they win those 2 games, they'd be at 12 points. Right on the tail. So, I think that second spot, I think it's a 3-horse race now, between San Antonio, Tulsa, and Austin. No disrespect to the Energy or RGV, but I think you guys, you're 9 points behind San Antonio and 12 points behind San Antonio at this point. Scott, any thoughts on the standings and the upcoming schedule? Like, what kind of changes do you kind of hope to see as we transition into more of the bold preview of tonight? So, kind of before we get into the real bold preview, I guess we got to talk about the breaking news story with St. Clair being called back to Minnesota United, and obviously, you would assume fear the beard. Matt Cardoni's back in between the pipes. Uh, Rafa, I know with you being a goaltending coach and experience on being a head coach, what kind of dynamic does that change to the team if it changes anything?
I mean, with Matt's kind of been, he's played with these guys, especially that first game. We also, like I said, with Monarchs, and also the FC Dallas game. So he knows the dynamics of how his defense works and so forth. So I'm sure you're a backup keeper. You got to be ready to go, because you can never know that number one goes down. You got to get in there and just pick up the slack. So I have confidence in Matt. I think he has the experience, and I'm sure he's looking forward for this, especially this game. You know, being a rivalry game, I think he's going to do a lot of great things, and I'm sure Marcinez has utmost confidence in him going into this. So he should do a great job tonight. So I don't think we're going to miss a beat too much. And like I said, St. Clair's a hell of a keeper. We're gonna miss him. Good luck to him in Minnesota. But we have, like I said, we have confidence in Matt that he can get the job done tonight.
I'm going to go to you next, Scott. Here with you being a former goaltender and player, on here as well. I know Rafa and I have kind of talked about on the watch parties, and I think even with you, that one of the big things that St. Clair did was getting the ball out into the attacking side quick. Your thoughts on that kind of change and how that could impact SAFC, as they do those quick attacks of after the goalie catches it. And you're talking about Carlos Mercado, who he was actually signed back in March. So he isn't a recent addition to this. Carlos has been on the team now. He obviously hasn't been in the 18 at all, but I'm assuming, he's been at practice, and I know normally that's where Jonathan goes. But obviously with COVID, I don't think he's attending a lot of practices right now. But your thoughts, my question to you, Jonathan, is, do you think SAFC brings in a more experienced goaltender, or you think that they stick with Matt and Mercado?
I would imagine they stick with Matt and Carlos. Even if they wanted to bring another goalkeeper in, I don't know what team would be willing to loan someone for, a couple months. And I don't know that you would just have that many guys willing to come for that short period of time. And also, you have to consider if you bring in someone new, they're going to have to spend a couple weeks quarantining perhaps, and obviously just finding their rhythm with the squad. But like I said, I think when it was announced St. Clair was going, I basically said Cardone becomes the starter barring injury or alien abduction, because I don't know what else could get in his way. And he should slot in just fine.
Hey, Scott, I'm going to send you a message here real quick here. So then, Rafa, I know Scott kind of hinted on his possible changes that he's looking for. What about for you tonight as far as, for the breakdown of SAFC and the Bold tonight for the lineups?
As far as the lineup, I think I'll be kind of the same from the first game. Maybe I don't know. I think Malone probably started instead of De Lorenzo. I think that might be there. Um, and see, as far as the midfield, will be the same. We'll have pretty much same formation, 3-4-3, like the last game. The only thing I do want to see more, like I know Scott's mentioned more, is the pressure up front from the forwards. We need to create, chances. We didn't see too much of that against Tulsa, but when they did, they got the good opportunities. This one, they have to bring it because, like I said, not Tulsa, Boston's gonna bring it on this game. They're gonna be like a little revenge factor. I don't know if they have a bench or not. We need to wear them out like the first game. And like I said, if we can create mistakes, that's how we got the first 2 goals. We can win this game. Because one thing also, the goalkeeper is not in good shape for the Austin Bowl, so we need to pepper him with a lot of shots, left and right. So we need to make him work for the whole 90 minutes.
So the lineups have came out. Cardone starts as we expected in a weird number 37. I don't know if I can get used to him as 37. Kai Green gets the start. Montgomery, Gorski, Tainer, Smith. And then midfield would be PC, Jose Gallegos, Perano, Di Rienzo, and Solinag, with Solinag grabbing the armband as captain tonight. So, Jonathan, your initial thoughts for you on here. And on the bench, we have Carlos Mercado, Tabort, Itaka, Balleroni, Torres, Haraval, Yarrow, and Maloney. So no Chewy again. That's the one that stands out to me a little bit.
Interesting to see Kai Green coming back in. I guess they're just deciding to rest Maloney. And we've seen, I don't think in the last couple games, but we have seen Blake Smith substituted off. So I think that's the trick right now. Is we were talking about what kind of squad we expect to see. Little substitutions and rotation here and there makes sense. But I don't think SAFC has been tweaking it too much with this busy schedule. And something we didn't really, we brought up Christian Perano earlier and how he was rested against Tulsa. I was going to point out that he wasn't in the squad at all. So for all we know, maybe he picked up a random injury, but he starts tonight. So never mind. And especially on a week of rest, I'm sure he'll do just fine. But one thing I will say is we were talking about really wearing Austin down. They've had a week to rest, and just I think I even said in my preview, the biggest thing against SAFC right now is the busy schedule and having to manage their fitness. It's not even Austin, but I think if they can, like we've been saying, if they can pressure that back line and the goal, they should get them. Austin does not have nearly as good of a defense as SAFC does.
And the Bold line out is out. Diego Restrepo, I know we kind of have briefly talked about him, but he's a favorite down here in San Antonio. He'll be making his return once again to Toyota Field. Tronsko, Fabian Garcia, Jermaine Taylor, Ismailia Home, who had a hell of a goal. Javi Baez, Moby Kugu, who Rafa will quote him one more time before the show is over. Omar Sis, Eris Dayof, Emma Tuazi, and Mr. San Antonio himself, part 2. Billy Forbes is also in the starting lineup. On the bench, they're still running thin on the bench. They've only got 5 players still on the bench, with one of them being the goalkeeping coach, Ryan Thompson, and only 4 roster, player roster here. So they're meeting the lineup, but still no Sonny G. So that one kind of surprises me a little bit. Scott, so we haven't got to you as far as on your thoughts on the lineup. Care to share? Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, no worries. So Scott's having a technical issue with the mic. He was planning on producing, and I was trying to force him in onto the show, and I guess he won, evidently. So Rafa, like I said here, what kind of game do you expect? Do you think it'll be as open as it was in Austin? Do you think the physicality, based on some of the comments from the Bold preview that they put out, do you think it's going to be a little bit more physical, where there might be a few cards that flash, at least a few yellows, maybe a red or so?
It's going to get chippy tonight. I can tell you that. And I know they're going to go after Pirano. He's always there after him. Little cheap shot here and there. But the one thing, I guess, with the lineup, they did put some speed up, especially with Pirano and Gallegos. So they're really going to, I think he's going to really press that Austin defense. And that's what they need to do, with only 4 field players on their bench. You have to wear them out, and that's what they did the first game. The one thing that cannot happen is that have that total collapse that they did when they gave up those 2 goals.
Got up 2-0 the last time.
Yeah, we got to keep on peppering them with goals, build a lead and don't look back, and send them packing back to Austin with a loss. And so I like the lineup. Like I said, again, I'm sure Hervey will probably come in as a sub later on. Maybe Malone. We'll see Maloney. Just kind of the normal rotation Marcina's been doing the last few games. I'm surprised Chewy's not out there. I wonder if he has an injury, and that's the one player I was looking forward to see what he can do on the field. But the one that's been really on has been PC. PC's been on it. I think he's going to be the key to the game. If he can get the team going, distribute balls, win those 50-50 balls, like I said, we'll get the victory tonight.
So my question to you, Jonathan, is the last game that we had with Jose and Christian on together, I think most feel that Jose struggled a little bit more trying to find his role. Do you think that's something that they've been working on? And practice has probably been very limited. But we discussed, at the last watch party, which we'll be starting probably after 7:30 or 7:45 here, if you want to stay tuned in to do it, and you can DM either me or the SA Soccer Roundtable Twitter account for a link to that here. But do you think that they'll be able to kind of work a little bit better where Jose can shine a little bit more? Because I think most people thought he struggled that first match with both him and Pirano on the field. And as SAFC fans, we want to see them together.
See, I think that's maybe not the right approach to have both of them on the field together. If everyone remembers, for the one pre-COVID game of the season, Christian was still injured and Jose slotted right into his place. And also for the FC Dallas game, we were looking at Jose and saying, well, even until Pirano comes back, we're covered. Jose's got it. So they do definitely fill similar positions. I don't know if they've really had much of a chance since when they played together for them to kind of figure things out. I mean, what would that have been, a week ago, maybe? And they've had travel and another match and I guess a couple days of training. But Alan put both of them out there tonight. We'll see if maybe they've figured out a way to have Jose and Christian kind of rotate in and out of that playmaker role.
Your thoughts, Rafa?
Yeah, I agree with what Jonathan says. Um, I'd rather see one of them come off the bench because he brings up, well, Gallegos come off the bench, because he gives an extra spark to the game. And point in case is the game versus Tulsa. He was doing nothing players left and right. So I think we haven't found the chemistry yet for Pirano and Gallegos to play together yet, but maybe later on we will. But I think he's a good player to come, change the pace of player to come in for Pirano, and I think, how are we gonna, we're gonna play today without Haravu back there because Haravu's more of that defensive mid and he really controls a lot and does a lot of the dirty work, kind of what like Casemiro does for Real Madrid. Just get those balls and then get them up, get the fields to the attacking mids. So we'll see how that's going to work because it seems tonight that lineup is more of an attack lineup to go after Austin tonight.
So my question to you on that thing, because you mentioned PC was going to be the spark plug. He's probably going to have to hang back more this game, right? Or do you think they go more with the traditional 5 in the back, or you think they'll still kind of do that 3-5 or 3-4-3 lineup that they've been doing?
It looks like maybe that 3-5-2, but it could be like a 3-4-3. Maybe either I think they may rotate Pirano or Gallegos as a false 9 with the other 2 forwards. Sneaking up on the plays. That's where I'm going to see they're going to be rotating around. But I'd rather have them out on the wings. That's where we do a lot of our damage is playing on the wing, playing the ball on the wings. They have the speed. Plus, there's a lot more room for 1v1s they can take advantage of and then send crosses to our 2 big forwards up front. So hopefully I can see that tonight as far as the play versus Austin.
So we're kind of getting the home stretch. So I did have one question here for you. With this being a rivalry game, with it being at home, does that really matter in an empty stadium, or is it just playing on the pitch no matter where it's at? We'll go with you, Jonathan.
I think it matters a bit. I mean, SAFC has taken the opportunity to have fans get some cloth and create some tifos to hang on the opposite side of the field, the one that presumably we'll see on the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone hasn't seen them already, Preston Petrie has tweeted them out. Mm-hmm. I think it's also hard to say, how might Austin do on the road, because for those who don't know, this is their first away match. This is their first match not in the comfortable,
Bold Stadium.
confines, of Bold Stadium with their locker room and all that. Some of them, for the likes of Billy and Diego, might feel a little bit like home still, a little familiar, but I think it'll be enough of an advantage where SAFC knows this is our house. Even without the fans, we know they're behind us, and this is our place. We're not going to let you get revenge this time either.
For you, Rafa, your thoughts on that?
Same thing. I mean, it's a rivalry game. Whether you have 1 fan or 100,000 fans, it's all about it's all about bragging rights.
All right, so talking about bragging rights, let's head into predictions and kind of wrap up the show here. I'll go first, as host. That way I can get my score out before you two. I think we're going to kind of see very similar to what we saw up in Austin. I think I'm thinking of 5. I'll go 5-2 score this one here. I think San Antonio FC's going to be clicking. I do think Cardoni does give up some goals, unfortunately, just because it's first game back in how many months as far as competitive action. And if we remember St. Clair's first game in RGV, you could tell there was some rust. So obviously Cardoni is going to have some. But I think with Marcina, he's got an idea on how to attack the Bold. And if we look at their season series, it's 2-2 with The last the last 3 out of 4 matches have been won by the team winning by 2 goals or more. So when people are winning, or when teams are winning this game, it's usually not as close as you would think it would be. And I know Austin got out to the first 2 wins of it, but San Antonio, the last 2 times they've played, have came back in pretty dominating fashion, in my opinion. Took the score here, so we'll go with Jonathan. Your predictions, and then any last minute comments that you have.
Um, if anyone noticed me looking down a second ago, it was me checking my preview to see what score did I predict. I went with 3-1 though. I think, like you said, with Cardone coming back in, there might be a bit of rest, and also just again with Austin having a week off, whereas SAFC had a midweek match and travel, a significant amount of travel, more than just Austin to San Antonio. But yeah, I think again, Austin does not have the strongest defense, and this SAFC offense has shown, especially if you've got the likes of Perano and Gallegos on the field, that they can really create chances and hopefully finish those off. So yeah, that would, I guess, just kind of be the one thing to add is we were wondering why Gallegos was in midfield. That's more of an attacking choice. That's probably a conscious decision on Marcinga's part, just to have a couple of guys that can really dribble at the bold defense and cause chaos.
Rafa, yours.
My prediction. I was gonna go with 3-1, but I'm gonna go with 4-1. I'm gonna go with a 4-1. Um, yeah, their defense is not that good, and we're gonna wear them out. And I think from the offset of the game, we need to pressure them right away, and put this game put this game away by the end of the first half. So that we can kind of cruise a little bit towards in the second half, and get ready for the next game. I'm sure the former SAFC players like Billy and Restrepo are going to be kind of be really gunning for us, kind of like Frank Lopez and the other guys from. They say, hey, we're gonna kick your butts and all that. We're gonna send you back home, back to Austin, back to your crappy tacos and stuff, back with a loss. So we're gonna win 4-1 tonight.
And I know you guys probably won't be able to hear Scott, but I'm going to ask Scott for his, and then I'll repeat his prediction here if he pops back on here. What's your prediction, Scott? All right, so Scott mentioned 4-1, same as Rafa. I think all of us expect a little bit of rust from Cardone. Hopefully, it's not the first goal. Hopefully, it's one that comes after San Antonio has already netted a couple. And of course, Scott's like, we got to stop Billy because he is their main attacking player at this point here. So all four of us are predicting a fairly comfortable win, 2 goals or more. Some of us 3 goals victory here. Jonathan, where can they reach you at as far as social media, and if you want to promote, Bluish Moon blog once again?
Like I always say, just follow me on Twitter at ChuckJFooty. It's how you would expect it to be spelled. There's no underscore or anything, and that's where you'll get tweets with just commentary, tweeting out previews, recaps, all that.
Rafa, where can they get a hold of you?
I'm on Twitter too at the SA Crimson Idol. You can find me there. Or if you're looking for a good college and university.
Yeah, we will. And then for me, like I said here, obviously you can reach me on Twitter mainly at Ram and Call, and also for the SA Soccer Roundtable at SATX Soccer. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, during the live show. If you catch it on the YouTubes afterwards, or along those lines, thank you for doing that. We do this to try to be able to provide a source of entertainment, and hopefully you guys get a little bit out of it. If you guys ever have any questions or suggestions, please reach out to either Scott or myself, or Rafa as well. and Jonathan, because Jonathan's been on here pretty much every week as well, with the pregame shows of something that you'd like to see added, and we'll definitely take a look at it. I know Royce is normally on, but he was out of town, so I do apologize. And unfortunately, Steven, unfortunately was busy as well. So want to thank everybody for tuning in. Just as a friendly reminder, I'll probably be kicking up the San Antonio Watch Party link here. If you've already attended previously, I'll automatically DM you the link. If you haven't, like I said here, if you can either DM me or the SATX Soccer, and I'll send you the link for that here. We have about probably 6 to 8 people that show up, so it's actually a pretty good conversation. And probably the most irritating and greatest thing is, some people will be ahead a couple of seconds, and some people will be behind a couple of seconds. So hopefully you're one that's ahead. So, but I hope you have a great night, guys.
Fear the beard.